happening, guys? I just figured, I give you this cam shot here. I'm still not at that stage quite yet where I want to add my face to this stream. Maybe one of these days. But just to prove, to those out there that are listening, that are watching, I'm really here. I guess from this blurry picture you can already infer some things about me. I mean, sort of a dead giveaway already, but I guess that's show business now. You gotta sort of hint at stuff. Although maybe I'm using some like really elaborate 3D modeling, compositing software to make this image. You don't know. You don't know stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say before that you didn't know stuff. I mean, you know stuff. You were well educated. You have gone to school, most likely. I mean, well, I guess I can't really speak for exactly what's going on in your life. Who knows? Who knows really? Only you know that. Well, and if you're anything like me, then even though you've had all that schooling and training and understanding and experiences, that you still sort of just don't really know what's going on like in your life or what to do next, or right, what's the move here, what is the next move here. For me, it's always a question. I don't really get life in general. It's just it's a pretty confusing place, and it seems like you have all this time, but then the day just keeps slipping by again, and then there's the evening, and then you go to sleep, and then you're getting up again, and it's like, well, I got a plan. I'm supposed to, oh man. And especially in these times, in the Rona times, it is hard to know what to do, because, right, you may have lost your job, you may be at home and thinking of new ways to get through this life, but yeah, maybe nothing's coming to mind. Hopefully you're getting some unemployment or some sort of support if you did lose your job. It's it's such a strange world out there. Everything is like doubled and tripled almost, It's like things are super sad, actually, but at the same time, like, we're so shell shocked that we can't even really talk about that. We can't even really like open up our hearts anymore, because that's how much damage this all has already done. And well, I don't know. I guess I'm hoping to spread a little bit of the feeling that, like, right, we're still here. We're still okay. Hopefully nobody that nobody that's close to you has been too severely impacted by this crisis. And if they have, I hope you're finding a way to figure that out. Because, I mean, yeah, we got to keep going. There's no not keeping going. We have to try to achieve the best that we can under the new circumstances. And, well, I'm just doing my best to quickly adjust and not be too freaked out about it, because what is that going to achieve? That's not gonna solve your problems, because the problem remains the same, like, as it ever was, right? There's a bunch of super powerful people out there that are going to try to get you down, right? Get you to spend your money in stupid ways, and get you depressed, get you thinking about dark stuff, and you just got to be strong. You gotta protect yourself against all that. But I know it's difficult. It just is. That's just the nature of our reality. It's not exactly easy, but that is the challenge. That is the challenge. Now, yeah, I'm trying to get on the stream more regularly. I hope you just hang out and join me, because I'm gonna be here, right? I mean, what do we got? What else we got? What else we got going on? It's sort of like my morning coffee here with you guys. So let's take a look at this show real quick before we get into the news. I'm always just like wild carding you guys. But I figured this was extremely relevant to our situation. If you can't actually just instantly guess what this show is from this single screen grab, well, that's probably a good thing. You shouldn't really have everything all memorized that deeply. And especially a show like this, which is not very good. I would not try to memorize it too heavily. But this show, do we get the frame there at the bottom? It's not. It's out of frame. It's out of frame. It says Between. And this is a show on Netflix. This show on Netflix, I guess came out a little while ago. I guess we could do some more research a little later. But the show doesn't seem to be exactly just right. I think it's from last year or at least earlier. But it's pretty boring, honestly. It's pretty soap opera-y, pretty just kind of pathetic in a way. That just a lot of the relationships that get formed are it's just very soap opera, typical sort of locked box kind of episode. But it's not just an episode, it's the whole season, right? And it's very similar. It's very similar in vibe and feeling to something like Under the Dome. There's been a lot of shows like this where a group full of people get locked in a town together and then sort of Lord of the Flies style have to tear each other apart and figure out a new way of organizing society as well. They've been cut off from the rest of the world, and that's just their fate. They gotta figure that out. How do we organize ourselves without police force and without the fire department, and people are just stealing and killing each other, and it's a great playground for that moral relativism debate that television is so fond of having. That, well, I mean, you really shouldn't steal cars. You shouldn't break into people's houses. But if all of society had collapsed and the power was out, like, well, wouldn't you just go take what you needed? Like, come on, like, are we being real? That was the last scene I was watching where they're like, hey, we're 16-year-olds. We want to come get a drink. Can we get some alcohol? And the one lady's like, no, alcohol is bad for kids. Don't do it. And then the cooler kid is like, but I mean, sometimes you just gotta have a drink, Just relax, uptight bitch. Just give these 16-year-olds some alcohol. You were 16 once. Remember what that's like? Stop being such a bitch. That type of thing. But what we're seeing here on screen is images of, seems like a bonfire party. I guess I better back up a little bit because, right, explain the reason why this is so relevant. This show is all about a crazy virus that explodes out of nowhere in this tiny town and just starts killing all the people. And the defining factor of this disease is similar to the disease that we're currently dealing with. This disease only kills the older people. And they figure out through statistical analysis that, well, it only kills people that are over the age of 22. So everybody that's younger is gonna make it through this experience, which is also giving me all this like Tartaria global reset vibes because, right, there's a lot of talks of when the reset happened about orphan trains and just tons of young people being spared by whatever happened and then having to be repopulated all over the world because some areas didn't have, I guess, any more young people or any people at all. And they had to go out there and repopulate that shit, if you know what I mean. And that would make sense, right? If what happened right before that was a huge global pandemic that ended up killing most of the older generation. And right, it's me sort of just trying to read the tea leaves here. Is that what's going on now with the current crisis? Is this all just sort of a warm up for this larger disease that ends up inevitably sort of sweeping the globe and killing a lot of the older generation? And then the meek are left to inherit the earth, the younger generation. And I mean, it happens sort of gradually in the show. A lot of the, I guess, some of the authority figures, some of the older people end up sticking around and continuing to be authority people, but it's mostly left up to the kids to figure this out. And this is exactly the kind of imagery and plot, sort of emotion that is it's critical. It's critical and key at priming your like emotional center for the reaction that was had to right when this much more sort of milquetoast version of this goes all throughout the globe, because right this hasn't been the scene, at least as far as I know. I mean, maybe it has been in some places, but they're not piling up the bodies outside. They're not putting them in big piles and then burning them to kill the disease. That's just not the state that it's at, right? They had those sort of not faked but manipulated and sort of falsely framed images of the anonymous burial site in New York that what's it called, Cook's Creek or something like that. But that's like the closest analogous situation that I can think of in relation to the current crisis. What happened there? Potter's Break, something about it's like an island where they bury homeless people from New York. And right, they had I guess sort of an uptick there, and they had some great drone footage of these guys in hazmat suits burying the dead, but you know, it was still just a handful, a dozen people. It wasn't these like we're seeing on screen here, these just mountains of dead bodies that were piling up outside with nobody left to take care of them, right? This just isn't the situation that we were living through, but it is close enough, right? And that's just sort of how the subconscious works, that you have these sort of images in your mind, these scenarios of, yeah, global crazy disease is killing everybody. Oh man, we're gonna have to do candlelight vigils as we stand there and burn these bodies. And that imagery, that fear is, right, you're inevitably gonna connect it with reality and what's going on now. And right, what are the chances that that's going to be your first right, jump to conclusion kind of? That's just how that works, right? These images get inserted into your mind, and then when something in reality happens that is the same ish, it's close enough. It will still trigger all of the same emotions and ideas that you had while watching a show like this, right? So I mean, that was the main thing I just wanted to bring up with this show. It's super bad. It's a very soapy, unfortunately not well acted show, and there's not a lot of to look for here. But as far as like, right, it's almost easier to pick out these mind control aspects in these poorly made shows. I mean, it's not like a student film, but it's also not super good. But then it's a lot easier, right? They're still trying to portray these concepts, and whether they've received a mandate to insert these concepts or not, that's I guess still up to debate. But right, they still have to insert the concepts, but then they're in general just not gods of filmmaking. Then it's a lot easier to see the agenda there, right? To see what they're trying to convince you of, and right, if you're doing this kind of research, if you're trying to figure out how our reality works, then well, bad TV is almost the best place to look because they're just not super good at hiding it. It's it's only in those next level shows like a Westworld or right. There's a lot of shows on that list, but then they're able to really like sneak behind you and give you this ninja sneak attack. Then it's a lot harder to analyze all of that, but. This last part that I did find interesting though is this right is the dialogue because well I don't always have access to the subtitles but Netflix provides that and right there's often very telling exchanges and it's again this is how our reality is shaped it's shaped in the story world in the digital world in the ephemeral plane and right as much as you like to think it's just a show or it's just entertainment this is how the world that we live in gets formed it's through CNN and the news and all those other things as well but it really is I'm pretty adamant about this is the whole ball game here right when you get to the end of your day or maybe you're just starting out your day because you don't have a job and you're just sitting at home watching Netflix. I think there's a lot of people just doing that. So when you get up and get your coffee and commence your 8-hour Netflix binge, right? That's the real programming. That's when they really set up this civilization. And if you want to see how this civilization is really set up, I think it's the only way to really get to the bottom of it is to try to watch this content in a way that well you're protecting your mind that you're not going to let them subconsciously basically manipulate you and I'll be the first to admit that this is not entirely possible right as soon as you're watching this stuff even if you're keeping a very critical eye out you're protecting your brain you have some mind armor it's still going to get in there right and after watching just thousands and probably thousands multiple thousands of episodes of television I'll definitely admit to some serious brain damage because of that. Serious brain damage. I mean, what? But I guess it was sort of worth it. I definitely love TV. It wouldn't have started. This all wouldn't have started without a passion for television itself. But hold on a second. I'm getting a little sidetracked here. So what are they trying to say? They're trying to scare us. Shut up. So we have two characters here. They're just sort of discussing the nature of their reality, being stuck in this town and with nobody to help them and just, what's going on with the disease. We don't know what's going on with the disease. We got to get to the bottom of this, right? So who is it? The girl, the guy, they say, they're trying to scare us. Shut up. Wiley. I mean, I don't even know their names. That's how sort of shoddily this thing is put together, right? But she says, listen, Mr. Conspiracy Theory. He's trying to like come up with some crazy ideas about what's going on with the virus, right? And this is exactly this is how this gets formed, right? So when you're talking about something crazy, maybe to some neighbors or some friends, when you say something crazy and they come back with that clap back, right? Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. That's it's like reactive, right? Maybe it comes out of the culture and this is something that people already say and therefore it goes in the script, but it could also be that, right? Chicken or the egg kind of thing. It goes in the script first, and then all of a sudden everybody's saying stuff like that, like, this is just what you say, Mr. Conspiracy Theory. Stop being such a Mr. Conspiracy Theory. And, right, you may not consciously be admitting that that's where you got that phrase from, is from that stupid Netflix show, but it's still gonna it's gonna get inserted into your life and therefore the lives of others, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden everybody is calling each other Mr. Conspiracy Theory as soon as they start talking about questionable subjects, which yeah, you're definitely not allowed to do anymore on YouTube. It's only regular, non-controversial subjects being allowed. So, well, I guess I'm still breaking the rules. I don't know. I don't really care though. Just come at me, YouTube. So, because I guess I am Mr. Conspiracy Theory. What if they really still just don't know what it is? And they're talking about the virus, right? They're talking about the disease. Maybe they're not trying to protect. Maybe they're just scrambling themselves, right? Maybe they're still worried about what to do, right? And that's the impression you do get from the military and everybody outside. They're really just trying to lock this situation down, and they want to protect the rest of America, and they basically, I mean, they have sacrificed this town to do that, but why? But why? And that's the question. And this whole exchange here, right? I feel like I'm missing. I feel like I'm missing a response or something. One of the frames. The media. But basically, I mean, that exchange is what I wanted to show you. That's how this all plays out here. Right? And this is, I guess, after they burned all the bodies. They're like, what was the initial frame? It's totally here. It's totally here. Let me see if I can. See, I have this problem where it's a technical thing. I don't. Nobody wants to talk about that. I'm telling you, they cut off the power and communications for a reason, right? So that's what's going down in this town, and I definitely think that's still in the planning in the coming era, whenever that actually does happen, that they are going to cut the power and get everybody super fucking freaked out, because, right, it's one thing to be under house arrest, it's to be locked at home, but you still got the internet. You can still watch these Netflix mind poison shows and get the time to pass by a little more smoothly. But how is it all going to go down when that's not the case, right? And that's an important subject for mind manipulation, because when they do shut the power off, right, they're going to have to do that for many reasons to push us on to this, basically the next phase of human cattle that they're poking and prodding us into. They're going to have to cut off that power at some point, but when they do, we really have to be at an optimal point of programming, because, right, they're gonna shut off our programming as well. They're not gonna be able to tell us exactly how to feel and react when the power is off. So they really need to be able to predict that. They really need to be able to know exactly how people are going to react, and this is how that happens. Basically, they can set us up like this. Right, I'm telling you, they got to cut off the power and communicate. It's just like me, right? I'm Mr. Conspiracy Theory here. They cut off the power and communications for a reason. They're trying to keep us silent. That's what he's saying, right? They're trying to scare us, shut us up, right? And that's definitely going to be be the case when the power goes down. Whether it's manufactured, right? I can still picture some sort of the Russians hacking us. Oh, and they hacked down our grid, right? Because that's been predictably programmed a little bit into us already. Either the Russians, some sort of foreign state actor hacking the grid and taking the grid down, or it being the actual event, right? The EMP, some sort of Carrington level highbrow solar event that ends up knocking out communications and basically all electronics, and then we're in for some serious fun times. It's going to take a while to build that infrastructure back up again. So you better believe they're going to want us properly programmed before that point. And I guess that is the million dollar question. Like when is that actually going to happen? The grid going down. But this I mean, I guess we won't be able to talk about it because the grid will be down. But right, hopefully you'll remember that episode of Between on Netflix. It's just another example of the prediction of this event, right? And then again, right, this could almost be the event. These things are sort of tangentially related to each other, right? It doesn't have to be a direct one for one. This power going out, this isolation, this could be close enough. Our version right now, the house arrest, and the problems there that are being created by you being stuck at home, right? It does feel like we're cut off from communications, right? And that is the whole quote unquote conspiracy theory that's rippling through the internet right now they're just trying to scare us, to shut us up. That is word for word what the general sentiment is about this crisis, right? They're trying to scare us, period. Shut us up. That's what this is all about. And well, maybe it's just this event. It's that's the fun thing about trying to read these tea leaves and the drops that they're constantly dropping here, right? Is you got to be able to put that square peg in a round hole. It's not it just isn't going to go one to one. But if you can figure out how to put that square in the peg, then it's going to give you like a fortune telling machine, right? And I guess this is definitely information that should not be released to the public. I see why they would want to shut somebody like me up. It's no good. I'm breaking that spell. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. 20th Century Fox or whoever else worked on this production. I actually sort of doubt it was 20th Century Fox. It would have been much better. But I think you get what I'm pointing at as Mr. Conspiracy Theory myself here. Right? Maybe they just don't know. Maybe they just don't know when the solar flare is coming. I mean, we got to give them some credit. The controllers. They're probably doing the best for us, right? And that's in the end. You agree. That's what happens. You agree with this lady who's saying we're under quarantine for a reason. We have to protect the rest of the country, right? As we pile up the bodies and there's no one left to take care of the kids and they're crashing cars and just misbehaving and all the parents are dead. And it's just a general pandemonium and chaos. Well, it's for a reason. We have to protect the rest of the population. And this show, it's so bad, but I would almost recommend just going to check it out because, it just, I don't know, it helped my brain. I'm like, well, damn, dude, they're laying it on thick here. And I guess if you really are just opening your brain up without worrying about it and letting them pour this nonsense in, then of course you're going to be one of those mind virus, like, totally freaked out about what's going on now. But especially, if there weren't already enough signs and signals about it's just every single day what's going on is in some way fishy or strange, then I see this predictive programming as like the just the very obvious nail in the coffin that it's they're just fucking with us, guys. They totally just fucking with us. What's up, CJ? We got CJ Blaze in the house. I appreciate you joining, CJ. See, I'm going to try to get on the stream. I'm going to try to professionalize this a little bit more because, right, I got the time now. My job is not just completely crushing my soul out of my eyeballs. So I'm able to get on this stream now every day. And why not? It's good to hang out with you guys, and it's good to try to build a community. It seems like we got a couple people here now on YouTube. So, just, I'm trying to build a community a little bit. If you're new here or if you haven't Like, just sort of introduce yourself maybe and check it out. So we can sort of be friends, a little bit. Just, I'm not trying to force anything. But I can use my own personal mind control techniques, which would be, I guess, using words, forming words with my face, and I got my fingers to just trigger your emotional center. So that's just what I'm trying to say right now. This is a quick message to you, the listener. If you like hanging out with strange people that aren't completely just decimated, hatcheted in the brain with the propaganda, if you wanna make some friends with people that don't watch the news and take it all very seriously, then you come to the right place. So I dare you, one of you people watching right now that hasn't typed in the chat, I dare you. Even that one dude watching on Twitch all alone, solo dude watching Twitch, I dare you. Right in that chat right now. And that's the thing about mind control, it's not always going to work. It's more of a continuous sort of aggressive, just reapproaching. So, maybe we'll get you on the next round. I do want to just for 1 second switch over to the news as we're approaching the next part of this day. Where's my dashboard? Where's my dashboard? Oh yes, wait, I gotta get it over here. Let me just get this over here. So, oh nice, it totally worked. See, that's what interaction is all about. Oh man, I knew when I was saying dude, that maybe it wasn't a dude. That maybe just maybe it wasn't a dude. So I'm sorry for calling you a dude, Tuscan Vegan. If you're not watching on Twitch, then Tuscan Vegan just reached out, and I really appreciate that, Tuscan Vegan. You seem like a cool person because you wrote an emoji in your chat, and that makes it personal. But I appreciate that. Looks like we got, Hemi from Louisville, Kentucky. That's nice. It's probably pretty late over there in Louisville. See, I'm over here in Europe, so I have a couple options when it comes to streaming for you guys in America. And in order to make this a regular thing, I'm trying to do this in my morning time, yeah? So I can actually, this is sort of me, my waking up kind of thing. No, Tuscan Vegan saying, wow, in Hawaii, that's a trip. It's like evening time there, right? I'm actually in Germany. Tuscan Vegan's actually asking where am I in Europe? I'm in Germany. I've actually admitted on this stream directly that I'm in Hamburg, the city of Freemasonry, the city of just aggressive symbolism. Yeah, damn Hemi, it is 4:45 a.m. That's pretty damn early in the morning. But I think if you're searching for truth, then insomnia is sort of goes hand in hand with that. You gotta have a little insomnia if you're looking for the truth. Yeah, that's right. Rip Curl. What's up, Rip Curl? If you haven't checked out CJ Blaze also has a totally awesome channel. We're trying to build a community here, so check out CJ Blaze's channel. Now, I am wondering. I should probably figure this out because it'd be cool to be working both of these channels at the same time. But I don't think that you guys can see what's going on Twitch. Well, or can you? I think there's a way to like set up a bot about that. Although I might have to get one of those good old-fashioned text box going. Oh, that's right. I'm here on this screen. Yeah. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? I got yellow stream health. That's not the stream health that I'm used to appreciating. That's unfortunate to have this yellow stream health here. Now, getting a little sidetracked here. But that's okay. Now, Pence. I don't know, Pence in general doesn't really interest me. This guy just seems like, right, picked for a reason, picked as a foil to our protagonist, I guess you would say, here in this story, Mr. T-Man. He's a curious figure, right? Obviously super contradictory. Obviously seems to have a lot of sexual tension just built right up. You can see it here in his furrowed brow, just how much like just a rough time he's having. Oh, and I lost him. Where did he go? It's unfortunate. He's gone. He's lost into the sea of information. But apparently he has, he's got the COVID. At least that's what they're thinking.
That's right. When you hear this music, that means it's like sort of the end of the show. It's kind of like, this is the final part of the show when you hear me like singing in the auto-tune voice. And like, well, I mean, I guess I could keep going, but I'm like trying to keep this like a regular, like half an hour, so I can keep getting back on the show. So if it's going on too long, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing the show. So yeah, if I keep it to like half an hour, then it's pretty manageable. I'm super glad that you joined today. I'm super glad that you're with me right now. So thanks for joining me. It's okay, but in all seriousness, because we do. It's good to see a couple people here on the stream. It's great to see you guys. You know, it's like we're chilling. I must admit, I'm going.
I'm going a little crazy. Not like crazy, but just being locked inside. Just me and myself, and I recently changed countries, so I'm sort of stuck in like a 2-week quarantine, and I don't know. It's just I feel it. Like it really gets to you. You start to go mad. Like you start to get all weird in your brain because you're just sort of talking to yourself. You're just like looking at yourself. Like what am I? And so I think that's, yeah, you got to do your best to like break that cycle. And I totally understand now why they've put everybody all alone, separate in the quarantine times, because it's pulverizing your mind. Your mind is getting melted out of its brain hole, and it's going to get turned into a smoothie that I guess you're going to get chipped and then made to re-drink your brain smoothie, and then you're really just going to sort of go along with whatever's happening. because I honestly don't think the suffering has started yet. We haven't really got to the suffering aspect, right? There's not insane amounts of people without food. There's not tons of people without power or medical attention. It's been pretty chaotic, but in general, it's been very, let's say, calm in a way, right? People have gotten off the streets. They've went inside their homes and they're still able to get the toilet paper and just hang out with their families and do all of that kind of stuff. Still doing a job if they can. But, well, like, you can't honestly think that this is as bad as it gets. Like, right? I really try not to be too dark on this show, but like it's gonna get a bunch darker, and just the nature of our minds, where they're so pulverized and weakened that right, if we approach any sort of suffering, approaching any sort of like previous world war or major conflict, our minds are not equipped. They've been made into the opposite of equipped. And well, that's why I would encourage you to spend time re-armoring your brain, because it's all we got in the end. Get that brain armor going, dudes. I'm serious. All right, keep it real, everybody. All that boring stuff. Like and subscribe, and I'm gonna be back tomorrow. I'm trying to like professionalize this thing, like get on here, like get on the stream, like be on the stream. So, cause right, if it's just like at random times, then you can't rely on me, and I'd like to be somebody that you can
But you can rely on.